everyone, it's Shelly Killinger here from the Shelly Killinger Group at RE/MAX CSI. So today we're talking about strategies for surviving the hot spring market. All of our numbers indicate that it is going to be a really competitive spring market this year with low levels of inventory and high levels of buyer demand. It really does create for a competitive market. So if you're thinking about buying a new home or selling an existing home, we have some strategies that we'd like to share with you. So our first strategy, if you are thinking about buying a new home, is to meet up with a buyer's agent as soon as possible. You want to interview buyer's agents and choose someone that has experience in your price range and in the type of home that you're buying. You want to choose somebody who you trust and somebody who you just plain get along with, because you're going to be spending a lot of time together. Having that confidant from the very beginning of the process all the way through the closing table is a really important factor, especially this year, because it is going to be such a hot competitive market. You really are probably going to need someone to get some advice from and someone to lean on throughout the process. So definitely meet up with and hire that buyer's agent as a very first step. The second step we have is to get pre-approved early. You are going to have to submit your pre-approval when you go to submit an offer anyway, so we want to make sure to sort through those numbers early. You certainly don't want to try to be sorting through your finances as there are multiple offers coming in on a home and as you are potentially losing the house that you're in love with. So sitting down with that lender, who your realtor can point you in the direction of a great lender, but sitting down with that lender early on in the process, when you have time to talk about what loan product works best for you, what monthly payment are you comfortable with, what down payment are you comfortable with. These are big financial decisions, guys, and we want to make sure that you have time to think about those. We certainly don't want to be rushing to throw all of that together as there's multiple offers going on in a really competitive bidding war type of situation. So make sure to sit down and sort through your finances early with the lender. The third tip that we have is to be competitive. It's a competitive market, so therefore you have to be a competitive buyer in order to win. Now that means a couple different things. You certainly want to be competitive in getting into the houses to see them. You want to make sure you're one of the first through the door, only because they don't last very long, and you want to make sure that you have the opportunity to tour it. That's the first thing. The second thing is to make sure that you're a competitive buyer in your offer. Make sure you're bringing in a competitive offer price. Unfortunately, this year is not the year for a deal house. You're not going to probably have success by submitting a low offer on a home just because there are so many other buyers out there, and sellers know that they can probably wait for another buyer to come in at or higher than that low price that you're offering. So they're probably likely to wait, and it's probably not going to serve you well to submit that low offer. You also want to be competitive in the terms that you submit in your offer. Maybe ask the seller what's important to them and submit, a closing date or some contingencies that would appeal to them if they need to move out sooner rather than later, something that appeals to them. Make sure that you're submitting a competitive offer in that way. And then of course, make sure that you're not asking for large amounts of seller assist or complicated home sale contingencies. Those are not going to serve you well in this market. So those are our 3 quick tips for buyers if you're thinking about buying this spring. If you are thinking about selling, I would say do not wait, act now. We've been telling people for years that March, especially the third week in March, is the best time to list your home for sale. That is not the case this year. Our reported buyer foot traffic for the last 2 months is actually higher in February than it was in any given month in our spring market last year. That means that the spring market is now. So you need to meet with a listing agent as soon as possible to get your home up on the market and beat what other inventory is going to be coming available this spring. Our second tip for you guys, if you're thinking about selling this year, is to make sure your home is showcase ready. You really have a big opportunity this year. There's very little inventory out there, very high buyer demand, so you really could maximize your profit. But the key to doing that is making sure that your home is showcase ready before it hits the market. That means that we want to go through the home and make sure that it is, functionally speaking, everything's working, there are no major issues. Take care of those before it hits the market. You want to make sure it looks nice. Maybe have a home stager through to put her, touches on things, and maybe rearrange some furniture so that it's most appealing to buyers. But making sure your home is showcase ready before it even hits the market is the key to maximizing your potential and your profit in this hot market. Our last tip, if you are thinking of selling your home this year, is to not overshoot the price. I know it's tempting. You hear everywhere that it's a hot seller's market, and what does that make sellers want to do? Increase the price in order to increase the chance of a higher profit. I get it. If I was selling my own personal home, I would want to do the same thing. However, we want to make sure that your home is in line with the comparables that are selling in your neighborhood and in your school district. The reason being is that we don't just have to sell your house once. We actually have to sell it 2 times. The first time we sell it is to the buyer. The second time we sell it is to the appraiser. And that's a big deal, because if the house does not appraise for purchase price, that means that the buyer can't get a loan on that price. And that means we have an issue that then we're negotiating down the road who's going to come up with these extra funds to make up the difference between what the purchase price was and what the appraised value is. We don't want to set ourselves up for an issue down the road. So make sure you listen to your agent. Take a look at those comparable properties that she's presenting to you, and make sure your home really does fit in well among those comparables, because we don't want to be setting ourselves up for an issue down the road. So those are our 3 tips if you are thinking about buying, and 3 tips if you're thinking about selling in this hot spring market. Of course, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us directly. We're always happy to be a resource for you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please subscribe to our channel so that you're able to get all of our market updates and our great weekly videos that we do post every Tuesday or Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.